They've got a box method for everything. So with this, so in the first assessment review, with the 1.1 assessment review, we had a question where it was like 2x minus 3 times a polynomial. And I said that it was devious because all we had to do really was distribute the 2x times the term and then the minus 2 times the term. And it basically turned into a polynomial, and it turned into a problem that we've already solved hundreds of times already. We just had to make sure that the coefficients matched up, and then we combined all the like terms. We basically made sure that it wasn't that big of a deal, that it wasn't that big of a problem. It looked awful, but there was a way to simplify it so that we could work it out. Apparently, that was an advanced topic. That was something that we weren't supposed to go over yet. I don't understand why. It looked pretty straightforward to me, but anyway, so apparently there's two ways to solve problems like that. The first way is the way that we figured out, which was just using common sense and math distribution. The second way is the box method, because like I said, there's a box method for everything now. Anyway, as you probably guessed, not just from my tone, but well, we're gonna set up the box method, and we're gonna multiply everything through, and then we're going to combine the terms, and we're going to get the answers. So, all right, so x, negative 5, get this started. Then I've got 3x squared, 5x, negative 5x, minus 3. All right, well, let's get started. So 3x to the third, negative 5x times x is negative 5x squared. Negative 3 times x is negative 3x. All right. Negative 5 times 3x squared is negative 15x squared. Negative 5 times negative 5x is 25x. Negative 5 times negative 3 is 15. And we combine terms, gives me 3x to the third, 20x squared, minus 20x squared. Then let's see, that's plus 22x plus 15. Yep, a little labor intensive, and I talk a lot of smack about the box method, but I mean, it's consistent, and it's not very exciting, it's not very demanding, but you know what? It's consistent, and it produces results. I apologize, box method. I'm not going to say anything bad about you anymore. Um, so yeah, that's the box method, and so we'll move forward to the method that we discovered during the 1.1 assessment, which is the way that which is to distribute it. And what do you mean by distribute it? Well, it basically means that we take 3x, and then we go 4x squared minus 3x plus 5, and then we do minus 2 times 4x squared minus 3x plus 5. And we do this because when we were doing intro to multiplication of polynomials, these were the types of problems that we solved. These were the types of issues that we ran into. Yeah, so I guess we'll just multiply through normally and then combine like terms literally like we always have. So let's move forward. So I've got 3x times, I'm not going to, normally when I do these distribution problems, I couple them together with their own parentheses, but I really just don't have the space for this. I don't have the space for it. Plus, we know what we're doing. We kind of understand what we're doing when we're doing the distributive math. If you want to pause the video and then make little parentheses bubbles on your own paper, on your own worksheet for the rest of these, that's perfectly fine. That's perfectly understandable. I'll talk slowly. I'll talk slower so that you can go along with that. But otherwise, I'm just going to keep moving forward with the solution. So I've got 3x times 4x squared. That's going to give me 3 times 4, which is 12, with x times x squared, which is the same as x to the first power, times x to the second power. which if you remember, our product of power rule is the same as x to the 1 plus 2. That gives us 12x to the third power minus 3x times 3x. We're going to get x squared because it's x times x, but 3 times negative 3 is minus 9. And then finally, 3x times 5 is just 3x times 5 is just going to be 15x. All right. Now with the negative 2, we're going to have to do some sign flipping, but that's no big deal. We just got to pay attention. And besides that, there's only 3 terms. So minus 2 times 4x squared is minus 8x squared. Negative 2 minus 3x is just going to be plus 6x. And then negative 2 plus 5 is going to be minus 10. All right. Yeah, now that everything's solved through, let's just start combining terms. I see I've got a 12x cubed, I've got an x squared, I've got an x, and then I've got a constant. Oh, all right. The 12x to the third power is on its own. It doesn't have anything to match with it, so it's going to stay exactly where it is. The x squareds, I've got negative 9 minus 8, so that's going to give me negative 17x squared. I've got plus 15 plus 6, so that's going to give me plus 21x. And then, as I mentioned, I got my constant, minus 10. In terms of, I got to be honest with you, in terms of speed, I've got to say the box method is definitely faster. But I don't know, I just like the distributive method more. I don't have anything, again, like I said, the box method, it's consistent, it's reliable. And I deliberately took my time with the distributive method, but yeah, I mean, it's got nothing bad to say about either one of them, really. Anyway, let's move on to, we basically only have like 4 more problems, so we may as well just get through to them. This side I will do with the boxes. This side I will go with distributive. You know, just kind of the same way we've done the worksheets in the past. So, there we go. We'll do y and 8, 2y squared, 4y, negative 8. All right. So y times 2y squared is 2y to the third. Y times 4y is 4y squared. Y times negative 8 is negative 8y. Okay. Next, we have 8 times 2y squared, which is 16y squared. 8 times 4y, which is 32y. And then finally 8 times negative 8, which is minus 64. All right, let's start combining terms. So 2y to the third is on his own, so we'll leave that one there. 16y squared plus 4y squared is just going to be 20y squared. 32y minus 8 is going to be 24y plus 24y. And then, of course, minus 64. And because I wrote all of the terms in standard form, going left to right and up to down, all of the outputs are also in standard form. Not to flex, but you know, that's kind of how we do things here. Next, we have k plus 1 times this. So we'll do k times this plus, you know what, yeah, k squared plus k. You know what, I'm going to say that I'm going to invoke my trivial rule. Earlier on in one of the earlier worksheets, I talked about how in mathematics, in higher level mathematics, there's something called a trivial solution. And a trivial solution is a solution that is so obvious, that is so clear, that is so undisputable, that expending any brain power towards it is considered wasteful. Even though brain power isn't technically like a resource that you can use that's never regained and you can never get it back, it's still considered like a waste of energy and a waste of time to utilize it in that way. And this is going to be one of those trivial operations that I talk about. K times each one of these basically means that the degree of each of these elements is just going to go up by one. And so I'm not going to, and so because of that, I'm not going to go through the whole multiplication steps with this. I'm just going to rewrite I'm just going to rewrite the next level, and we'll just say that it's a trivial solution and move forward from there. So I've got k to the 4 plus k to the third plus k to the second plus k to the third plus k to the second plus k. Well, I mean, this is kind of what you get when you don't mess with, when you don't have any coefficients. All right, so I've got 1k to the fourth, so that one's out. And then I've got 2 k's to the third. And then I've got 2 k's to the second. And then k. Alrighty. Final one. This one is on the left-hand side, so we'll go with the box again. Okay, so 3x minus 6, and x squared minus 3x, and then 2. All right, 3x times x squared gives me 3x to the third. 3x times negative 3x is negative 9x squared. 3x times 2 is simply 6x. All right, excuse me, negative 6x times x squared. Negative 6 times x squared is negative 6x squared. Kind of weird how that works out. Negative 6 times negative 3x is negative 18x. And then negative 6 times 2 is negative 12. All right, start combining terms. I've got 3x to the third just on its own. Negative 6 and negative 9x squared is going to give me negative 15x squared. Negative 18 plus 6x is going to give me negative 12x minus 12. All right, there we go. Alrighty. For this last one, we're going to do the distributive property again, where that gives me a times 4a squared plus 3a plus 2 plus 6 times 4a squared plus 3a plus 2. Just like above, I'm going to invoke my trivial solution with this first part, because all I'm doing is increasing the number, the degree of a by 1. So I'm just going to, without doing any math, I'm just going to copy this down and move on. 3a squared plus 2a. Now I am going to do math for this next part, because it's not a trivial solution. There are actual numbers that I have to keep track of. So 6 times 4 is 24a squared. 6 times 3a is 18a. And then 6 times 2 is 12. All right, now I've got to combine everything. I only have 1a to the third, so I got that. I've got 2a to the second, so 3 plus 24 is 27a squared. 18 plus 2 is 20a, and then plus 12. Alrighty. All right, well, there we go. Those are two ways on solving problems. Basically, the big takeaway from this is that we already knew kind of how to do this, but I kind of appreciate having a new method using the box method to kind of solve through. Plus, the way that we did it before verifies that the new box method works. So, verification studies are perfectly acceptable uses of time. I know they're not as prestigious as original studies, but someone's got to do them, and they're just as valuable for the process of science. Anyway, that's it for this worksheet. I will see you on the next one.